think it's so important to give yourself time to recharge in all aspects of life. And there's an important distinction to be made between being Jami the mom, Jami the wife, Jami the boss. Sometimes you just want to be Jami, right? Like sometimes you just have to go back to who you are. We don't get to do that enough anymore.
Right.
So I think that that's important too. There's always going to be the guilt. Some days I'm laying in bed with my daughter awake and it's 5:30 and she's like, "Don't go, I need you." So sometimes I don't. It's hard when, but did she need me because she needed me or because she wanted to get out of bed, right? You've got to distinguish between that sometimes because I need to be here too.
Yeah.
So I think there's always going to be guilt for leaving your kids or for focusing on other things. And yes, time goes too fast and we don't get enough time with our kids. But if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to take care of your kids as well.
Right.
So you got to make it happen.
Welcome to Real Women, Real Results, the podcast where we go beyond the reps and dive into what it really takes to live a stronger, healthier, and more confident life. I'm your host, Jami Ravel, women's fitness expert and founder of W3 Body Women's Training Gyms in Chicagoland. Each week, we'll bring you real stories, expert insights, and the tools you need to create real results. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Real Women, Real Results. I'm your host, Jami Ravel, and today's episode is about something so many women struggle with: finding balance, battling mom guilt, and still making time for yourself. I'm joined today by one of our amazing members, also whose name is Jami. Welcome, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Who has been with us for almost 2 years. She is a mom of 2 young kids, a business owner, a wife, an eye doctor, yet she still shows up at 6 a.m. Monday through Friday and occasionally on Saturdays, not at 6 a.m., but Saturday mornings. And she's also someone who believes in living life to the fullest, in taking trips and not letting guilt hold her back. So we're going to dig into her story, her motivation, and her take on what balance really looks like. So again, welcome. Thank you for taking the time. And as I was talking with you earlier, today's episode is really to, talk about you and your story in hopes that things that you've struggled with but have learned to overcome can inspire someone to do the same. Can you share a little bit about what life looks like for you right now as a mom of 2 and, as I said, as a wife and as a business owner? Like, paint that picture for us.
Pure chaos
Yeah.
all of the time. There's work to be done even on the days I'm not in the office. You know that, right? We're always answering emails or texts, staffing issues, somebody called off, getting the kids to and from school, packing the lunches, and then showing up for my patients when I'm at the office. So I kind of jam my work into 3 days, and then I do the occasional stuff off to the side. And then regularly I'm running to and from cheer practice, soccer practice, all the things. And I try to show up in all of the places, but as we know, you can't show up in all of the places perfectly all of the time.
Right.
So there's always something that I'm dropping. Sometimes it's school, something related to school. Sometimes it's, I forgot to put a note in my daughter's lunchbox on the first day of school.
Oh, no.
Yes. What a day to forget.
Right.
But, it was first day of school and there were all the things.
Yeah, no doubt. You got to get back into the swing of things.
Right.
Well, yeah, and you still hold a social life and you still show up here, consistently. So all of those, being able to juggle all of it's very admirable, but pure chaos. And that's understandable.
Well, and the social life aspect is a little bit newer for us. I mean, we've had a social life, but we're doing a lot more socially now with families from school. But a lot of that is credited to the gym too. I had a lot of acquaintances when we started at the gym, and now a pretty solid core group of friends that we hang out with outside of the gym. I mean, this weekend, Saturday night, we were with people from the gym. Sunday, we were with people from the gym. Yeah.
Love that.
So it's great.
That's cool. Yeah. I mean, as we say, we're community first. So we always like to foster that. That's so cool. And that you guys took it to the next level as you guys do.
It's all about balance.
Right. Which is great.
We checked out a new brewery and then we all met at the gym the next morning.
Perfect. You did make it today, though.
Yes.
Okay.
I was there.
Because I heard day after Labor Day, this is when we're recording this, and session was kind of light at 6 a.m.
We had 2 people who were out for other reasons.
Oh, okay. Right. I can't imagine.
One I can't speak to.
So when you first thought about joining a gym, what were some of the challenges or hesitations running through your mind?
So, one of the big ones was for how much I'm going to invest financially in this. Am I going to show up for myself?
Mm.
Right? Am I going to make that commitment to be here and to make it happen? And pretty quickly, I learned that the morning had to be my jam because trying to squeeze in a noon and running from one kid to the next or getting coverage for a kid just wasn't going to work out for me.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the beginning of it. And then, of course, being able to keep up, right? There's always like, am I going to show up and everyone's going to be, you know, deadlifting 300 pounds and I'm going to be the girl in the corner, like, help me. And it wasn't like that at all.
Yeah.
It was great. And there's people of all levels here. So it was fantastic. But there's always that fear and that doubt you have in yourself.
Yeah. What do you think ultimately helped you decide I am going to show up for myself?
How much better I felt.
Mm.
And I think I probably said this to you when we sat down the very first time. I was 3 months shy of buying the business. And I knew
Mhm.
that if I hadn't started to invest the time in myself then, when I knew my stress levels were going to skyrocket, that I wasn't going to be able to fit it in after.
Yeah.
And once I bought the business and I was already into the habit of showing up, then it was easy to keep showing up.
Hmm.
So I think that was important for me to keep me level.
Yeah. So, like establishing the routine before that.
Yes.
It's interesting because unfortunately we hear the opposite a lot, which is that I know it's going to become hectic, so I'm not going to be able to fit this in. So I have someone recently who told me that she's got weddings coming up, so it's just going to be tough. It's like, well, it's
If not
50
now, when?
minutes. Right, right. And also that, as you get going, you build strength and you don't want to lose that. Like you will literally go backwards.
Mhm.
So that's awesome that you thought ahead for physical reasons for that routine and stuff, but mental health reasons as well.
For
So,
sure.
and what would you say to someone who is in a similar position with tons of responsibilities and just daily duties that after work or just evenings in general, midday, any other time except 6 a.m. or mornings, early mornings, that it's just not going to be doable unless they go, but they're like, but I'm not a morning person. Like, did that ever run through your
Yeah,
head?
I've never been a morning
Okay.
person. My mom still jokes that when my husband and I first were together that we would stay in bed till 10 or 11
Oh, wow.
because we didn't have anything to get up for on,
Yeah.
on the weekends. And so I was never a morning person. And then I started having one of my kids is an early riser. And so I'd be awake with her. She'd
Mhm.
be like watching TV on the couch. And I'd be wandering around the kitchen, like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, now what?
Yeah.
Right? I'm up. So if I'm up, I might as well be doing something productive.
Yeah.
And then it just happened to work out. So now she can watch TV on the couch and I come to the gym.
Yeah.
And some days she is up before I leave for the gym.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'd rather
But
sleep.
yeah.
And
Okay.
now I can't.
Yes.
5:40, my alarm goes off in my head and I'm awake,
Wow.
even on the weekends.
Wow. 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 What would you say to someone who is telling themselves, let's say genuinely their schedule does not allow for them to work out after work and their only option is before? And they're either deciding between, no, I'm not going to do it, or yes, I'm going to get up and make it happen.
You've got to make it happen.
Yeah.
You've got to show up for yourself because if you're not going to show up for yourself, you're not going to feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm more patient. I'm kinder to my family because I show up.
Yeah.
Because I know on those days that I miss, by the middle of the day, I'm like ready to pull my hair out.
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
So you just have to get up and you've got to show up.
Yeah. That's it. There's nothing
Invest,
to it but to do
right.
it.
Invest in yourself.
Yeah. How does mom guilt show up for you? Whether it's working out or traveling or taking time for yourself.
Of course, it's always there, right?
Yeah.
Leaving your kids is always the hardest part. We all talk about, when the car pulls away from the driveway, the kids are in the window, they're
Mm-hmm. Oh,
crying, you're
God.
crying, right? You feel terrible. And then once you get on the plane, you feel better.
Yeah.
And once you arrive wherever you're going, the weight is gone. And you
Mm-hmm.
feel like, okay, I can have a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's so important to give yourself time to recharge
Yeah.
in all aspects of life. And there's an important distinction to be made between being Jamie the mom, Jamie the wife, Jamie the boss. Sometimes you just want to be Jamie, right? Like sometimes you just have to go back to who you are. We don't get to do that enough anymore.
Right.
So I think that that's important too. there's always going to be the guilt. Some days I'm laying in bed with my daughter awake and it's 5:30 and she's like, "Don't go, I need you." So sometimes I don't.
Mhm. Okay.
Not
We'll
very
give you a
often,
pass.
but it's hard when, but did she need me because she needed me or because she wanted to get out of bed?
Uh,
Right? You've got to distinguish between that sometimes because I need to be here too.
yeah.
So I think there's always going to be guilt for leaving your kids or for focusing on other things. And yes, time goes too fast and we don't get enough time with our kids. But if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to take care of your kids as well.
Right.
So you got to make it happen.
It's like they say, I've heard this analogy with what, you're talking about putting yourself first so that you can show up better for other people, which is when you're on an airplane, if the airplane's going down, put your mask on first is what they always say, when they're going over the safety
Mhm.
instructions, and then put your child's mask on. Cause yeah, how can you help them if you're drowning or not drowning, but you're suffocating or whatever it is.
Right.
So kind of
Totally.
kind of the same idea.
Yep.
Yeah. So do you remember a time when you talked yourself out of it, but you did ultimately talk yourself into coming in and what that internal dialogue looks like?
Yeah. There's definitely been days that I've woken up and been like, you know what? I'm just going to take the day off or something's bothering me or whatever. And then I end up laying in bed, not falling back asleep anyways, being like, I should have just gotten up and gone. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And there are times I catch myself midday on a day that I haven't shown up being like, I really should have gotten up and gone this morning. I actually feel like as much as I have mom guilt, I also have guilt when I don't show up for myself here.
Yeah, I think that's
And
something developed over time, right?
totally.
Yeah.
And also, I'll get my phone blown up if I miss a class. Where were you today? Why aren't you here? So there's a lot of accountability that happens here too, which I think is
Yeah.
also great for showing up and feeling less guilty about it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and then also I think I don't know if this resonates with you at all, but just remembering, in my opinion, the good times that are had in the gym that you don't want to miss out on that
For
morning.
sure.
Yeah, it could be a hard workout or whatever, but it's still social and it's fun and there's those other things too.
Totally.
If you didn't make time for yourself, how do you think it would affect you as a mom and a wife and a business owner?
So I don't know if we've talked about this before, but back before I joined the gym, like kind of coming out of COVID, I had some health issues and I spiraled a little bit, like health anxiety. There were days I was like shaking. I mean, it was pretty intense. And I think being able to show up and take care of myself physically, there was other things that I did to like bring me back down to baseline. But showing up at the gym was one of them and was very important to me. And I think from a mental health perspective, showing up and taking care of yourself helps with your nervous system significantly. And I
Mhm.
think that that's overlooked by a lot of people. Oh, I have anxiety or I'm depressed. Maybe I don't want to go to the gym or it's too much for me. But I think for me, it was kind of what helped to bring me back down,
Yeah.
that I needed to reset and recharge and take care of myself because it was too much stuck inside my own head. That was a big part for me of showing up at the gym and always making a commitment to keep coming.
Yeah. Wow, that's absolutely. No, I didn't know it. I didn't realize that, but and how do you feel now? Much better?
So much better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah. I mean, I can go for a day at work that's totally insane and get home and feel like, okay, I
Mhm.
handled that.
Mhm.
Where, prior to me having as a consistent exercise routine, it was definitely like some days just took me out.
Yeah.
I'd get home and I'd be like, I just need to lay. I can't, I don't
Wow.
have enough left in the tank to finish this day out.
Right. Well.
And then who suffers?
Mhm.
I mean, of course, me, but also my family, right? My
Right.
kids aren't getting the best version of me. So, and that feels terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Well, glad that you're where you are now, right?
Yes, me
That's
too.
awesome. And here to share your story and again inspire others. So, rewinding to kind of that part, I know that when you had come in initially, you had told me that your husband was working out at another gym pretty much down the street. What made you decide to take the leap of faith with us instead of another gym? Because I imagine like that's an easy intro into a gym. Your significant other goes there already. So,
Yeah, I don't actually know why I never jumped on that bandwagon. I don't think there's anything wrong,
Yeah.
with what that gym does,
Yeah.
but it just was never really on my radar. I had been doing workouts at home,
Mm-hmm.
but part of what was happening for me was I would get the kids to bed and then I'd look at the clock and I'd go, it's already 9:15.
Mm-hmm.
And then you work out, you have to shower, right? So it was delaying my bedtime. Then I was getting less sleep. Getting less sleep was also impacting me. So then some days I would miss it or I'd be frustrated at bedtime with the kids because why can't you just go to sleep so I can go downstairs and work out, right?
Right.
And so it was becoming this snowball of things that was just leaving me totally disheartened.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had just kind of committed to, I was going to make a change. And then I saw the signage go up and I live, 3 minutes away,
Yeah.
if that, from here.
That's awesome.
And so everything about it just felt like the timing was right. The location was right, everything. And then I had met a couple of moms on the playground. My daughter was just starting kindergarten. So we were entering the public school system and
Nice.
they were like, oh, yeah, we're joining. And I was like, that this
Cool.
just feels like the place to go.
Yeah. Okay.
And I never had to worry about being judged or having anything. I feel like sometimes with men in the gym, right? Are they looking at you a certain way? I don't know. There's just
Mm-hmm.
all those other factors to think about. And you come here and it's all women and none of that is even on your mind.
Yeah. Which is so nice.
I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes people show up with their pants on backwards and
Yeah.
we roll with it.
Right. We applaud that for it. You showed up today.
Right.
um yeah, so it's kind of like the perfect storm in a good way of like events happening and the timing of when we opened. That
Mhm.
made sense. Do you feel like the women only was a factor? Obviously now you see like the great benefits and stuff, but beforehand or was just an added bonus?
Yeah, I think it was an added bonus. I
Yeah.
wasn't committed to that. And I do think now my husband will often say, oh, that's what we were lacking at our gym is the community aspect of it
Mm.
that we have here.
Oh, cool.
And now he's actually left that gym and has
Yeah.
gone to a different one too. So he's still trying to find that, right? But
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the husbands joined that gym because the wives were friends from this gym,
Oh, love it.
right? But then the
Yeah.
husbands couldn't join here, so they joined the other gym together.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun too.
Yeah. Look at us positively influencing the men.
Yeah.
Go us. That's awesome. Anything else? Just curious about like that 6 a.m. time frame that you like, I guess, or that really works for you. And I ask that like I'm a 6 a.m. person, whether if I'm not coaching, that's my preferred time to work out. And it always was because of out of necessity, first of all. And then you get to really enjoy it because for me, nothing in the day can divert my attention and make me not work out because I already completed it. And then it was also the sense of satisfaction that before 7 a.m., I was done with my workout and people are sleeping. It was like, I'm ahead. So,
Totally.
anything else for you beyond that you feel like is just like
I think
a feather in your cap?
some of it's timing. Actually don't even know how when my daughter started kindergarten, I was coming at 6:30 in the morning
Mm,
because I don't know how I was pulling off getting to the gym, getting myself ready, getting her to school. Like
yeah.
it was a lot. So when you opened up the 6 a.m.s and we kind of pivoted to 6, just felt like the timing works out well with the school drop off and
Mhm.
getting to work and all of the things. But also the community of the 6 a.m. crew that we've built now, right?
Yeah.
We have a group chat. We go out and do things. Our
Mhm.
husbands have all met each
That's
other.
awesome.
So I think now I can't imagine ever leaving the 6 a.m. crew
Yeah.
because I've come to other classes and they're fine and
Yeah.
everyone's friendly, but we just have this camaraderie now that I don't think
Yeah.
can be matched.
Yeah. I mean, it's enviable. Enviable. Admirable. We'll say it's admirable. It's a special thing that's like just catapulted in a good way over time, which is really cool. So, what changes have you noticed in yourself since becoming consistent here? And not just physically, but energy and mindset and how you show up? Anything else outside of what you mentioned?
My patience for sure. I'm significantly more patient with my staff,
Mm,
with my children, with my husband than I think I was before. And definitely more energy. Like I said, I couldn't tell you the last time I came home from work and sat on the couch, right?
mhm.
I'm going,
Awesome.
going, going. But then I have a strict 9:30 bedtime. And that's been huge for me too, because then I'm getting consistent sleep. because I'm always getting up at the same time. So I know when I need to be in bed to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I think not just only because of the gym, but because of all of the other routines and habits that have now formed because of my schedule with the gym,
Yeah.
it's made a lot of changes. But I feel better. I feel like I'm happier,
Mm-hmm.
healthier,
That's awesome.
all the things.
Yeah.
Nothing
Good.
negative since I
Yeah.
joined the gym.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good.
All positive.
Yeah. That's awesome. And like, I don't know the details, but from what you've said, just what a turnaround from how you felt a few years ago, even. So very cool to see. So you're also someone who makes time for trips and living life to the fullest. And I only know this because you're always asking me, like, when are you going somewhere?
When's your next trip?
When are you getting out of the gym? So, which I appreciate. So thank you for that. But how do you approach balance in a way that lets you be both disciplined and enjoy that freedom?
So I'm a firm believer in you have to have something to look forward to,
Mm-hmm.
right? You get into the day by day grind, it's easy to get lost in it. So I love to have a trip or something on the horizon that I can look forward to. Oh, this is coming up in 2 months, 3 months, whatever. And I don't put too much stock in, restricting my calories or doing any of those things. I try to eat well enough and I try to go out and have fun
Mm-hmm.
and I don't really think too much about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just try to let it happen. And, sometimes that means eating pizza late night with my friends. And sometimes that means drinking electrolytes and sweating.
Right.
We do it all. And I try not to put too much pressure on myself either way
Yeah.
because the socializing and that aspect of things is really important for your mental health in the same way that going to the gym is,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I don't think that either has to be limited.
Yeah.
And going on trips, my husband and I like to go on trips with or without the kids. We go on trips with our friends, and that's also super important for me. It just recharges you
Mm-hmm.
in a way that nothing else can,
Mm-hmm.
having that time to yourself. And that's why I always am like, when's your next trip? Plan something, go somewhere, because I think it's great.
Yeah.
And we never really left our kids. Like when my daughter was born, we never left her until my son came along.
Mhm.
And then we had 2
Like,
kids,
this is
and we were like, "We have got to go somewhere."
Yeah.
And so when my son was 4 months old, we went to New York City, like, in the middle of COVID, really, for a weekend by ourselves,
Nice.
and we came home exhausted and all the things, and also happier,
Mm-hmm.
right? We had had a minute to, like, reconnect with each other and go do something we enjoyed together, and I
Yeah.
think that a lot of that gets lost. Like I said earlier, there's the mom and the wife and all the things, but how often do we stop to do something we want to do,
Mhm.
right? We go to the zoo because the kid wants to go to the zoo, or we go do this because this is an interest to somebody else. But when do we go do something that's an interest of ours
Yeah.
that we like to do? And how many people do you know? I know tons of older women whose kids are out of the house now and they have no idea how to fill their time because what was interesting to them, they lost touch with because they weren't giving it any time.
Yeah.
So I try to make sure that something that is interesting to me, I continue to do so that when I find myself in that position, which we all will, right?
Mhm.
I still have interests and things that excite me that get me out and about.
That's awesome. Yeah. And like you said, it recharges you in ways that nothing else will, not even the gym too. And yeah, you're better off for it. That's great. So it's like finding the time and making it a priority, just like anything else. That's like, it's not going to come easy. You're not going to automatically find 4 days in your schedule to just go and recharge, but
Gotta do.
you'll feel better. Yeah.
I mean, some of these trips, I was taking a pump and pumping around the clock and all these things, right? Which is probably something that would have made a lot of people say it's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's worth it.
Mm-hmm. Well, good for you. That's not easy.
Mhm.
What message would you share with other moms or busy women who are struggling with guilt about taking time for themselves?
I just think you have to show up for yourself. If you're not showing up for yourself, there's always going to be guilt,
Mhm.
right? There's going to be guilt that you're not giving your job enough attention or you're not giving your husband enough attention. But if you're not giving yourself enough attention, then how are you ever going to show up for everyone else? So I think you just have to let the guilt go. And I think the older we get, the easier that is, right? If you had caught me 3 months after I had my first kid and you asked me to even go out for dinner, I probably would have laughed at you. Like,
Yeah.
who are you kidding? I'm not going
Yeah.
anywhere. Like, I haven't put pants on in days.
Yeah.
Uh, and then I think the older I get and, the more into the mom experience that I get and the busier we are with there's something every night, the more important it is to me to connect with other people and to go out and do these things.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to reach that point where, you
Right.
just burn out. So do what you can to prevent it, for
And when you
sure.
hit that point, bringing yourself back down is so hard. It's so much harder than if you catch it before you hit that point.
Yeah. And it's small things, it doesn't have to be lavish trips all the time. It's the small stuff.
Hopping over to the sauna whenever I can. If I can cut out of work a couple of hours early on a Friday afternoon, that's my go-to. I go to the sauna for an hour
Hmm.
by myself and read a book.
Nice. Yeah.
Things like that. Yeah, it doesn't have to be big trips. I mean, of course, we all love to go on a trip, but
Yeah.
they're costly.
Yeah.
Or going for a walk, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes on my lunch break, there's a little nature preserve behind my office. I go for a walk, just like get out in nature and breathe for a minute.
Yeah. I see it too as a double positive, basically. So you're not only doing whatever that activity is that recharges you, but I wonder what the science is in terms of like what's going on in our brain to how we feel because we gave ourselves like that time. Like we rearranged our schedule or we said, you know what, today I'm going to make myself a priority and I'm proud of myself for that. And so you reap the benefits of that pride and like that feeling of like, I did it and I wasn't planning to, or I didn't think I could make that time or whatever it was. I know that sounds like silly and small, but I really think that super small sense of accomplishment would go a long way outside of then going through with that activity, whether it's a sauna or it's taking a walk or making that workout that was hard to make time for that day and then reaping the benefits of that. So, my favorite question to ask everyone: what does being a strong woman mean to you in this stage of your life?
I mean, I think in this stage of my life, the most important thing is that I'm mentally strong and emotionally strong to show up for myself and for everyone else. I mean, it's the cliche, right? You can't pour from an empty cup, but it's true. You really, if you have nothing left to give, then nobody benefits.
Yeah.
But if you have all of it left to give, then everybody around you benefits.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we have as here. I mean, at 6 a.m., if there's a day that you're down, don't you worry. Somebody's going to pick you up.
Right.
Right. And you might come in a little crabby or not feeling great. And by the time we leave, we're all laughing and having fun. And I think that that's so important. There's a group of friends that I have that we travel with often. And kind of our motto, we like to go to concerts. And our motto is buy the ticket, take the trip. Right. We are strong women. This group of women are all very strong women who have been through really hard things and applaud each other. And when I look around here and there and all of these places in my life, feel like I'm so lucky to be surrounded by strong women that show up for each other and for their families in ways that probably didn't even occur to me 5 years ago. And now I'm just so grateful all the time to be around them.
That's awesome. The community you didn't know you needed.
Totally.
Yeah. Very
And
cool.
what I would have given to have that community when my kids were infants. Because once they get in school, you make friends. When your kids are infants, you're really in the weeds. And having this connection and support would have meant everything to me then.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, new moms, get out here.
Yeah. Yeah, the theme, the message overall from today.
Yes, for sure. Join the gym. It doesn't have to be this one.
Yeah,
If you don't live close or find a gym, find a community and get out there.
Yeah, well, great point. And thank you for sharing your story and all the different aspects of it and pieces of advice that you have for our listeners. I know so many women are going to connect and take that advice to heart. So, to our listeners, remember that balance doesn't mean doing everything perfectly every day. It means choosing what fills your cup so you can pour into others. And if you need support finding that balance, we are here to help. So thanks again for listening. And if this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend who needs the reminder that mom guilt doesn't define you and balance is possible. Until next time, keep showing up for yourself because you're worth it.
Thanks for tuning in to Real Women, Real Results. If you loved this episode, be sure to follow the podcast and leave a review. It helps more women find these powerful stories. If you're local and want to join our gym, check out our 4-week trial. Head to train@w3body.com for more info. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, w3body_Berwyn and w3body_Elmhurst for more strength, support, and community. See you next time.